rainbow color. So, okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Smith,
Stelter.
Graham,
Weatherly, Woods. Minutes from the May meeting.
I make the motion we accept the minutes from the May meeting.
Second that.
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes from the May meeting. Any council discussion?
Hi, Keith.
Howdy. Hate to interrupt you guys, but I didn't have any idea that thing was closed at 6 to vote.
Oh,
Supposed to be open till 8. It said on the state site.
Did you go to the side door?
Nobody in there.
I think our thing did say 6 o'clock on the sign. It doesn't have anything to do with us, but I think the sign said 6 o'clock.
Huh? No, I hung up. I'm talking to Amy right now.
So,
Okay, bye.
motion's on the table. Any council discussion? Here, no council discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Presentation of claims.
Move that we approve the claims.
Second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve the claims. On there is a few things. Like I said, the Rainbow Rock, that's from Glacier Precast, or Glacier, the lake sand and gravel, and that's crushed chips for the Durapatch for doing potholes. And then we got some other crushed, 3/4 crushed rock we put on the alley out here going to the library to kind of get that mud holes fixed there. Jeez. We need to, please, everyone silence their cell phones at the meetings, please. That's going to be a little more. Black Mountain Software is our annual software fees. It's $6,518. But that's all of our software that we do all of our accounting with. You also see the rebar for the drains we're doing around town, and the drain that's from Glacier Precast.
the liner tape and saddle.
That's for one where we did it's a sewer connection.
Okay.
And what we did is we were out of them, so that's multiple. That's probably 3 or 4 on how many she bought, but we normally have them on hand.
Yeah.
And we were out, so when she ordered them, she ordered 3 or 4. Also, Northwest
New
Pipe.
hookup?
Yes, we did a new hookup behind the creek side,
Oh,
water and sewer, and that's why you see some stuff there from Northwest Pipe and fittings, curb stop, and meter pit and stuff like that. That was for the new water connection. And then we were short a few things, so I mean, upped our stuff in stock, because we don't really stock enough stuff to do a connection. So if someone needs one right now, we can do it or sell it to them right now. So we stock all that stuff in the shop. Then you see we got porta potty pumped at the shop, and then we'll also be getting the porta potty put in the park here soon.
all right. Is there any progress on getting a handicap access bathroom in there?
Yeah, we're making progress every day.
All right.
We're closer every day. It's just around the corner.
Oh,
Handicap outhouse.
yeah, handicap outhouse.
Actually, the sewer's there. I guess you can do a Europe, or is it a Japanese style? Isn't it just a hole
Just
in
squat.
there?
Oh my God.
Just squat.
That's there.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
we can do that. So, any questions on the claims? Hearing none. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next is the financial report. In front of you is the financial report from April, because we're a little early in the month here. But one of the things I'd like you to look at is just the general fund ending balance there at $169,290. That's very odd for this time of year for us. We're starting to receive some tax money coming in. We got a little bit last month. We'll get another probably $30,000 check here in the next couple of weeks for the May taxes. Most of the funds look really good. The only one that's operating close right now is the sewer fund. It's just operating on the operating side, is operating pretty close. We've had to do quite a bit of work on some of the sewer stuff this year, so that's why it's operating pretty close. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve.
Second.
Any council discussion or any questions from anyone on the council of the funds?
Is there anything we should take note of here?
Nope, actually, like I said, everything looks really good, and actually the budget all looks really good for this year. We'll be coming into budget time here. It needs to be kind of ready for you to look at next meeting. Maybe I'll go through the budget for, and Crystal, if you want to come in on one of those one evening or something, we can just walk through the budget so you can see how we do that. Pretty much, I think the budget's just going to get some little tweaks. I think we're going to let the budget ride for another year like it is. We need to tweak a few things here and there, but I think we got the budget pretty well nailed down on expenditures and revenues and stuff. We're doing pretty good. So I think that looks really well. So I think it's going to be a pretty easy, this year's going to be a pretty easy budget. I don't think we're overexpended any line item anywhere. I was just glancing through it here, but this is actually April's. But hopefully here in this next month we look at it and everything looks good. So. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is my report to you guys on what's been going on. We'll talk a little bit about the water thing. The draw request, I'll just go through. Nothing's really changed on the water project. What we're waiting for now is the water test results. So when they took and drilled and pumped and did all that, they took water samples to see if there's any radon or radiologicals in the water. That's a 30-day test. It takes 30 days before they can actually look at that. So those test results should be coming back here just in the next week or so. So we should know if we got good water then. If we do, then we'll re-drill the hole and go from there. So that's what we're waiting on there. The rest of the project's on hold because we don't know how much we're spending on the water. So that's why the rest of the project, the tank lining, and that kind of puts us in a bad spot for all that stuff too. This is not a good thing. When you go bidding like for tank lining and that tank rehab, those guys are 6 months, 8 months out to get in rotation. So, and it's coming up. We're in the summer now. They're busy. They're done. So we'll be going to bid probably. I'm going to guess once we know it's on the well. I'm going to guess we'll be probably going to bid August, September for April work is what we're looking at now. So
the same well driller is going to, after we get the test results, is
Yes.
going to drill the new well.
they'll do the new well. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
one of the things that the test well is very similar to a regular household well, but when we go to a municipal well, it has to be drilled completely different. It has to be sealed different. It has to be larger casing. It has to have a bunch of things done to it, which costs a lot of money. So that's why they just did the test well to see what we had for water.
Okay, well, we should be pretty much at the 30-day.
Should be.
Yeah.
We should be hearing
Close,
some
yeah.
from the time they took those water samples. So it should be any day we should hear the water
We're holding
samples.
our breath about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't want to have to move somewhere because that'd be really
No.
expensive.
Yeah.
So hopefully all that comes out. So city crew has been busy. Like trees, they did clean up last Thursday, but after the windstorm over the weekend, actually I spent the last 2 days hauling trees. People brought out to the road from trees falling down or limbs or whatever yards. They've been busy doing that. Sierra Lazaro resigned this last month. She came and talked to me about it. She was offered another job a little closer to home. Kind of doing something similar for a landscaping company on the water and stuff. So we visited quite a bit about it and just a good move for her, a good, a little more pay, closer to home, traveling 120 miles a day, so it was kind of a good move for her. Sorry to see her go, but you got to do what you got to do in life too. So she resigned her last day. It was actually Monday. She came and helped do our beginning of the month samples. Amy is a licensed water operator, and she's got a temporary permit on her sewer operator, so she'll have to test on that. So that's where we're at there. So
You plan on refilling the position?
we plan on advertising. Actually, we've already had some interest today. Actually, some people came in and asked about it, so we'll advertise the position. The big thing is it's going to be the position. We're going to have to tweak the job descriptions just a little because the water operators turned into a completely different job than what it was. As I was telling Amy earlier, is when I became mayor 12 years ago, the water operator spent one day a month testing. They did the test one day, did the paperwork, and they were done for the month on the water sewer, except doing the daily checks and all that. Now we're doing multiple water samples. We're doing weekly sewer samples. We're doing the water sampling is not just our normal E. coli coliforms. We're doing lead. We're doing copper. We're doing now the feds have us doing some other tests every once in a while. And then the paperwork side has changed drastically. Instead of just writing out a form and mailing it in, you're doing stuff on the computer. It's online, and it's become on the water and the sewer, and then they have to report on the sewer. We have to test 5 times in a month. Has to be tested along with the water system and all. So it's actually become its own job anymore. And, it used to be a couple days a month, and that was it. Well, now it's kind of became one of the things they check all the time now is like operation manuals. They want to see that I can give you a book, you can go out and do everything on the water system. You have to be able to, and that's one of those things that has to be kept up all the time because things change. You put in new equipment, or you do this or do that. So we're chlorinating, we're doing all kinds of things. Like I said, it's just really turned into a way bigger job than what it was 10 years ago. So when we advertise this, it's going to be for water sewer operator. With that, whoever gets hired on has to be able to become an operator within 6 months. So it's going to take someone, and the water sewer operator license is not what it used to be 10 years ago. They've changed it completely. It made it way harder. What's the failure rate is?
It was a 0.5 or a 5% pass rate on the sewer exam.
Yeah.
Wow.
So these guys are taking these tests multiple times to pass because there's way more to it than what there used to be. It's not just that simple test that it was 10 years ago, where you can go sit down, spend an hour, fill it all out, and pass it. Now it's guys are doing a lot of studying and still failing. I know an operator that's been an operator for 20 years, and because the system upgraded, they had to upgrade the license, and he's taken it like 2 or 3 times and studying hard to get it. And it's just become a more, because of times have changed, it's become more and more responsibility with the job. So the testing's gotten harder and all that. So we're going to advertise it. We have some people that have expressed some interest. We will, we'll just go from there. And so we get, we'll have to, the pay and stuff. We're not too far off from what the other smaller communities are paying. I know, like the water operator in Ronan starts out at just about 14, 15 an hour. So we're not too far off on our pay and stuff. It's just more and more responsibility. So
the improvements at the lift station take some of the strain off of the main lagoon or anything, or is that?
A big strain off because you're taking all the particulate out.
Right, solids and the
and that's gonna. So anything that comes through that system, this little 1/4-inch screen, it picks that up, dewaters it. One of the things I thought about doing, and we need to do that. The council needs to go on a sightseeing tour and look at all this stuff one evening. We need to go and do that and just look at all these facilities, the water facilities, the sewer facilities. So you kind of have an idea when we're talking. When we talk about the blowers, or we talk about the chlorination systems and that type of stuff, you see have an idea of what it's doing. But at the lift station, where we pump the water to the lagoons, we now screen it, and that's, man, has that helped at the lagoons. We still get some residual debris coming up, but not like before. We haven't had any pump trouble. That's the big thing. The pump trouble went away. So
Why don't we set a date tonight before we leave?
to go on a tour, and that'd be nice just to go just one evening. It won't take very long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just to go
Be
look
nice
at the
to know.
facilities so you see what the facilities are.
Amy, you're gonna need a bigger office while
Oh,
the
yeah,
hatch
okay.
shooters.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things is we're gonna have to get more to that on the operator. You know, the water operator has, quite a few checks and stuff, and that's one of the things that we've been tweaking the job of Sierra was more and more water sewer operator. So she did all the checks, she did all the coordination, she did all the paperwork, all the testing, flushing of the hydrants, stuff like that. Then when come water meter read time or whatever, everyone got involved, and it only takes a day and a half or so to read meters anymore. I mean, so where they're getting it down, but there's just so much in the testing and the paperwork and all that, and then staying on top of the paperwork and the people contacting all the time. We have to report to Montana State DEQ, but also we have to report to the tribes and DPA. So we're a little different than some communities. So we're moving on with that. The crew's been storm drains. As you see the money in there, I think we have 6 of them. We're going to pour concrete on here in the next week or so. So getting those upgraded and opened up and cleaned, and then putting regular lids on them is going to be a big benefit. So we're just going to move on through the summer here. Crew it'll be the month of cleanup. It's the last Thursday of every month. We'll be doing that. Just a reminder, no household garbage. If you leave anything out there that's going to be charged for at the dump, you have to pay before we will pick it up. We still have to remind people of that.
What about tree limbs and?
Tree limbs and anything that we can put in the burn pile,
Yeah,
no problem. We'll pick up. It just has to be brought out to your property line.
okay.
We
But
don't
you
go in.
can't pay someone to come in and cut down all of your trees and then have us come pick them up.
Yeah,
Although
we
we still
don't do
have a
that.
pile left over, we missed the window of opportunity for burning it, but.
Yeah, and that's the other thing it's a service to help people clean up a yard that don't have a pickup or don't have some. But that's what happened earlier this spring. We had some people hire tree trimmers that came in, and then they made a deal with the tree trimmer to come in on the day before cleanup, trim the trees, and then the city will pick up all the limbs. Well, I mean, then a day's worth of limb picking up. And we're like, no, that's not what this is for. This is for the little old lady that has some limbs grow out of her tree, or the little lady that has a kitchen stove. She got a new one, and was she with the old one? Some delivery company brought it, but wouldn't take the old one. Well, that's what we do. We'll go take care of that. That's what it's for, is that person doesn't have a pickup or whatever. It's kind of designed for that, not for other things. But there's always just one or two that try and push the system a little. Hiding their household garbage, the limbs. That was another one that happened the other day. So they picked up all the limbs and left the household garbage.
Oh boy.
So that's still, like I said, the last couple of days they have, I don't know how many dump truck loads. Both trucks have been running, picking up limbs of those windstorms and stuff. So
Yeah.
yours already fell.
I came by your house first thing. No. We have had a couple people who've had major jobs, and we parked the truck and let them load it, and then we hauled them off, just because it was branches that were affecting the sidewalks or stuff like that it really needed cleaned out. And it was a benefit to us as the town also for them to get that done. And then they had someone there that just loaded us. They just threw it right directly into the truck.
So anyways, that's Public Works, and we're moving forward there. You mentioned the water sewer connection by the creek side. They're putting in a tiny house or something back there, but we have water and sewer service connections there. That property. We've had some other people asking about water sewer connections, just give dollars before they do something. So we're looking at that. Fire department's been slow. We haven't had anything, but we have been doing training. We've done a couple trainings this last month. So we're the new guys all trained up and getting them ready to go. And so that's all moving forward. Ambulance has been slow until this last weekend, and it got busy. The police department has been fairly busy. You guys have their report in front of you, and you also have the library report. We won't get into that. We'll just move along. The police department, though, has been doing quite a bit of training. The guys come down and been doing quite a bit of training, which is good. It keeps them all informed and up to date. We'll be doing some more trainings for homesteaders that weekend there. We'll have some officers down for that. So that's all I have. I report the department reports are in front of you, so you can read them. New business, since we don't have any old business unless someone can think of something. New business is the appointment of Malin Kendrick to the library board. Malin stepped in to serve a spot that was vacated. I saw it here. And, Malin was filled out Liz DeRoche's term. The library has a fairly long, I think it's a 5-year term. It's a long term. Starla, can you speak on that, please? Starla, are you awake?
Yes, it has a 5-year term with a repeating 5 years. So a person can actually serve for 10 years. So she would actually be starting her first term.
Okay. So that was the only applicant you must have had.
We don't have to post it if the board is good with that person continuing on. They get the choice to do that. So.
Okay. Okay. So I have a motion to appoint Malin Kendrick to the library board.
I move that we appoint Malin library board.
Second. Second. Any council discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carried. Next item is Morrison Merrily draw request. This is a draw. This is draw number 2. As you see, this will actually include the O'Keefe drilling draw request is in here. They have we've run into a little bit of trouble with Morrison Merrily and their accounting, so I made some phone calls to some bosses on that too. So I think we got all that straightened out. You can see the O'Keefe bill in there, and there's a little bit of Morrison Merrily bill in there. For a total draw request of $62,868.61.
So what does that leave us in our fund?
Oh, go back to page 634. Well, there's one, Kendrick, right there. She's stuck to the back of this.
I may need to put those, because Jeff did those late.
They were in here because I looked at it. Yeah, I looked at it this morning. And then it's right here. So what we have is, when we go out on the spreadsheet here, is we have local funding source is us. And balance remaining, we have 102,397. CDBG, after this draw request, we still have 393,531, and TCEP is 390,234. So there's still roughly 886,000 in the fund. So far to date, the draw requests have taken
56,000.
Yeah, it's not added together is what it is. But so previous and previous, you have to add them together. So it's 53 plus the 62. So you can go across this. There's 3 columns because there's 3 funding sources. Then you can see what was budgeted, previously expended. So that'd be from draw request number 1, and then remaining balances in those, or the draw request from this time. You can get on over there. So I'm out of this draw.
Make a motion, we do the draw request for Morrison Merrily.
Do I have a second? Any council discussion? Everyone understands it all totally?
No. So O'Keefe didn't take any responsibility for the
No.
failure.
Nobody takes any responsibility.
Did you feel that they should have taken some responsibility in
when you talk to the old man and stuff, but I guess here's where I'm coming from, and I'm just Joe Blow, and I don't know nothing. Is when you figure the diameter of an 8-inch pipe, and you're gonna fill it with 400 feet of concrete, you kind of know how much mud you're gonna put down the hole. I mean, I ought to figure that out because I want to order roughly the right amount of mud. So when you come to that number and you add way more, wouldn't you stop and think, hey, we need to see what's going on? I mean, if somebody's quite, I would have. I mean, but you know, so you ask, and of course, no one wants to answer anything. How bad do you want to go after O'Keefe drilling? I've talked about that a little bit. You know, I went back and forth on it. You're the only driller coming and working. You want to go after them for it? I guarantee you, you're the retainer on the lawyer is going to cost more than what we've spent. I guarantee you. And then you got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they screwed it up in a court of law, and you're not going to do that because he's going to be a professional and so this has never happened to me before.
It's happened once before, though.
Once before, yeah.
So I was thinking about that today. What about putting like a pillow down there with them inflatable ones after they pumped it to keep anything from drawing up to the level you didn't want?
Yeah, and that was my, you know, if you had some of those things to do is why not just put, and we have one in the shop. I was here multiple of them because we're using the sewer lines all the time. You know, you drop the plug and you air it up and then it plugs it. And then when you deflate it, it shrinks back, you know, a couple inches in diameter and it has a lifting eye on it, pull it back out. There was a lot of things. Just my simple thing with, you're going to order the mud. So you figure the diameter of the pipe and you're going to fill 400 so much. Well, that comes to 2.5 yards. Well, you order 3 because you always get shorted. And then when you start paying attention to that stuff. So those are some of those things that I asked and I can't get any answers from anyone. So, you know, you can ask, you know, and that's just some of that stuff, just like putting the block down because you know you want to go to the 250 line. Why didn't they go ahead and plug it at the 250 line so nothing can move? You know, some of those questions. And no one really wants to answer me when I ask them. They just kind of talk around it. You know, if you want me to pursue it more, it will.
No,
Not a problem.
no,
But
I just was, because it seemed like a real screw up on his behalf.
it won 2-1, you know, more summarily.
Yeah, it's got an engineer governing.
Yeah, I mean, the engineer should have been standing there going, hold it. That's way too much mud. We put down way too much mud in the hole. And that's part of it. And I'm not actually, just because I never really got an answer yet, I will be asking more of that as we go through this, is why, you know, and look at some of those numbers and stuff when we do that is, man, I flat out told them, you guys screwed up our well. You know, you did it, you know, by not paying attention. We've done a better job ourselves. You know, it's pretty simple, I thought, but so that's one of those things. I'm still going to kind of ask questions and see where we go and see what maybe we can get out of it at some point, and to see how they answer me on it. Maybe I'm down a little more. When I get some more of the when we get into it a little further, I get talking to more of the head guys at more summarily would be able to do that just so we can find out. It's because part of it is it's going to cost us a bunch of money for their screw up.
Yeah.
A whole new well.
Well,
The exploratory too. The exploratory costs us a bunch of money, and then drilling a whole new well is going to cost us a bunch more. So it's going to end up costing us. I'm not going to say $100,000, but it's going to end up costing quite a bit of money by the time we're done. You know, and part of them they both should take a little bit of responsibility for it, and you know, at least pay for something to that effect.
Yeah.
You know, help out a little bit here and there. So I'll continue visiting with them as we talk to the more higher ups. You know, just the engineers and stuff we're dealing with on the project don't have any pull. But I know before this is over, I'll be talking to a vice president or two just because they end up calling and visiting with them. So for more summarily, and we kind of get into it a little more. We find out the radiologicals and stuff. I was going to call and talk to the owner of O'Keefe Drilling a little bit about it too. It's about, you know, this has happened before, but just common sense would tell you, you know, just keep pumping something down a hole, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So motion on the table.
Let's
I
see,
made a
already did.
motion.
And I think Crystal
Crystal
seconded it.
seconded.
Yeah.
Any more council discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any comments on non-agenda items?
I'm just curious, the result of the, I assume that Lawrence is going through with the rodeo.
Rodeos a go. Animals are on their way.
Okay, and the street dance, do we know anything about that?
Yeah,
Posted.
that she's having it on Main Street.
She's gonna have it on. I guess I talked to both bar owners about moving it to the rodeo grounds and just doing it all out there.
Yeah,
They both are gonna talk to each other and plan something. The latest I got is Judy decided it's too big of a hassle to move out there, and then she'd have to hire bartenders for here and out there, and so she just wants to do it in town. So it's gonna be on Main
yeah,
Street.
they're probably gonna come into town anyway after it's over.
8 to 11:30 is what I said when we were doing
Okay. Let's see, I had one more question. The library report is talking about T-Mobile having hotspots in town and having the best coverage now in our area. I was just, are they using the AT&T tower? I mean,
Yeah, they have an antenna on the tower. AT&T's up high, then it's T-Mobile.
Uh-huh.
So they've been in service there for a couple of years.
Okay, but then didn't they swallow up like, What's-
Sprint or
Sprint?
I think
Yeah,
they merged or something.
yeah. Okay.
Starla, can you comment on that? On that, what does it mean we have received 10 hotspots from T-Mobile through the Montana State Library?
The Montana State Library got a chunk of money to help out with library problems through the COVID deal. And so one of those things that they purchased were hotspots. The state library will pay for them for a year, and then we'll have to figure out whether we want to keep them or not. We have 10 of them. Supposedly, T-Mobile has the best coverage. So I just got them. They are not ready to be checked out yet, but I am actually using one tonight for this meeting to just see how it works, even just up here. So they should be pretty handy as far as a patron will check them out at the library, take them home. They should be able to do their computer stuff at home.
Oh, okay. So you just come check it out at the library, then keep it for a day or two, then bring it back.
Yeah, they'll have a certain amount of time that they can keep it. We'll set the due dates. If they don't bring it back, it shuts off. It is filtered. It's child internet protection filtered. So I know before we had some problems with the non-rated sites. A site that's not rated on the computer, the filter will not let you in. So sometimes that's oil companies or something like that. But it should be pretty handy for like the census and things like that when they start having to go to people's houses and what have you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a comment. We're going to have a Chamber of Commerce meeting on Thursday at noon. It'll be a conference call, and Tina Malott will give whoever wants to join in the telephone number and the password. So,
Okay.
We set a date for
A tour,
a tour.
a Gilligan's Island tour.
Later on in the month would be good with me.
Okay. So you guys want to pick a date now or
Yeah, let's get past May.
we'll do it on Tuesday night?
What's the, let's see, what do we got?
Or a different night, but Tuesday night, like the 23rd?
That'd be good.
Tuesday's okay with me. Sometimes we go shopping at the end of the week for the hotel.
23rd would be great.
But, we're talking like an hour unless you guys really want to look at stuff or something, but most of it is just buildings with control panels and different things. But I mean, it'd be great for everyone to see,
Let's go now.
Exactly.
to see all that stuff and then
Let's
see.
go now.
We can go there now.
Don't
You wanna
we
go
have
right
to
now?
wear our muck boots?
No, nothing you're going to is dirty. If you want to go right now, we can.
Short meeting. Okay with me?
It's only 7:36.
Yeah, it don't take long to go to those places.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Going anywhere I haven't seen before?
Nope. Nope, you've been to all of them, so.
Motion to adjourn.
And actually, that is one of the things they're working on a list. I don't know if you want to do it or even, but we got a list of just little electrical projects like that.
Yeah, we have a list.
Like, a well 1 needs to be hooked up to a 110 outlet that only comes on with the pump, like you did a well 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and there's some wiring that needs moved up to the city shop because the new roof kind of rubs on it. There's, some, stuff like that. So we have a list of that put together.
I move to be adjourned.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, aye.
All right.
Meeting adjourned.